Hey everybody, thanks for joining the webinar today. I'm just going to give a couple of minutes for other people to kind of trickle in, but it should be just an intimate audience today, and we're going to go over AppPresser in just a minute. So just hold tight. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So thanks for being here. My name is Scott, and I'm one of the founders of AppPresser, and I'm going to be showing you how to use AppPresser to build your app. So I'm going to walk through creating an app with AppPresser, customizing it, and compiling it with PhoneGap. And I'll show you how to customize your app and some of the great features you can use. I'll also talk a little bit about the new features in AppPresser 2, but this is mostly going to be about just kind of a little bit about AppPresser and how you can use it to make your app. So I'm going to leave time at the end for questions. If you can just wait until the end, and then you can post them in the chat, and I'll go ahead and look over those. I'm going to share my screen now. And so let me quickly go over why you'd want to use AppPresser, just in case you're wondering. There's three major benefits of AppPresser. Number one is you can use most of WordPress's features and plugins in your app. So for example, you can use a plugin like BuddyPress or WooCommerce, a custom forms plugin like Gravity Forms. You can use all of your WordPress pages and posts and customize everything completely to your liking. So the way that AppPresser integrates WordPress features and custom plugins and user management like membership plugins and payment plugins like WooCommerce and things is really unmatched by any other product. So if you want to use a lot of the custom things that come with WordPress in your app, AppPresser is a great way to go. And then you get to manage your site and app in one place. So you don't have a third-party system where you're building your app that you have to go update and then separately go update your site. Anything that you push to your WordPress website is automatically pushed to the app live, and any of the administration for the app that you do is actually done in WordPress, the same place that you are editing your site. So it makes it really easy. And of course, it's self-hosted with no monthly fees, so you're in total control. So let's get on to how AppPresser works and how you can use it to build your app. So it allows you to build a mobile app using your existing WordPress website, but how does that all work exactly? Let me first show you the end product so you can just kind of see what we're talking about. I'm going to share, this is actually just through QuickTime. I'm just recording the screen of my iPhone, and this is an AppPresser app. So it may be have a little bit of latency, but it's really smooth when I do this, on my phone. But through the video, it may be a little bit laggy. But so this is basically a WordPress site, and this is, you're looking at WordPress posts. So I can click into one of them, and you can see there's things like featured images and things like that. Comments. I can click this comment button and open up a modal to leave a comment. I can click on this share button and it'll open up the native sharing dialog, and I can share this through Facebook or Twitter, things like that, all through the native sharing dialog. That is through the AppShare plugin. It has this great menu that is a actual WordPress menu, and I'll get to that in a bit. But it has, it's a multi-tiered menu. All of the pages are loaded using Ajax, so it feels really smooth in the app and really fast. So again, we have this AppShare shortcode, which is through our AppShare extension, native device sharing. And you also have the app camera, which is one of our extensions. I'm going to click on Take Photo, and we can see that, I have the device camera here. I can take a picture, and then I can click Use Photo, and it'll actually upload to my WordPress media gallery, and then you can display that in your app or on your site. We have a check-in shortcode, which is through the app geolocation plugin. And if I click check-in here, you'll see that a Google map pops up, and I chose to display Starbucks locations. So I'm showing all the Starbucks locations by me, and there's just a ridiculous amount of Starbucks right by me. So, so if I choose one of these, let's say the El Toro one, I can click it, check in, and then it checks me in and it saves that data to WordPress. I can also post my location. So if I click post location, it'll also show, my location on map. And so in this way, you can have users check into a location, kind of like Yelp, or post their location to your app and use that in any way that you want. Some more integrations that we have would be like BuddyPress. This is an activity feed in BuddyPress, and I can post an update and say anything I want to. I can attach a photo to that update. So for example, if I wanted to, let me just take another photo, and I'm going to say use that photo. It's going to actually upload it, and then I can post my update to BuddyPress activity feed, and you'll see that it's now there. We have also WooCommerce integration. So if I click into, we just have some demo WooCommerce products here. I can click into these. It has a nice display for the products. With the app camera shortcode, it also has the ability to take photos, upload images to the product image gallery, so people can take images of your product and actually upload those straight to your site. And of course, we can purchase products and view our cart and check out and everything straight through the app. And that is part of our AppWoo integration. There's lots of other great features like push notifications and things like that, which I'm not going to go into here, but you can look at more of those videos on our site. So now that you see how the app kind of looks, I'm going to show you the site that's actually powering this app. And this is just a dev site that I have. It's nothing special. It's just a normal WordPress site. And this app that you're seeing here is the same site where you could see, like, this is the post Sponse Comp Limited. That's this same post here. And it obviously looks very different because AppPresser is only active when you're inside of the app. It doesn't affect your desktop site at all. So the way that we actually configure AppPresser, if I go into my dashboard, I'm going to go into the plugins, and I've already taken the time to install the AppPresser plugins. This is pretty self-explanatory. Download the plugins from our site and install those through under plugins, add new. So here you'll see that I have AppPresser core plugin, and then some of our extensions installed and activated. So once those are installed and activated, I can go to the AppPresser settings page, and we have a few options here. The most important one, it would be the app only theme. So this is going to say which theme you want to display in your app, and we highly recommend using one of the themes that come with our bundles. The Ion theme is a new one, which is great. We also have the app theme. And you can choose from this list and save that. This PhoneGap version setting only applies to AppPresser 1, not to AppPresser 2 at all. And here you can also choose using a unique home page for your app and some other options. I'm not going to go over all of these because we have videos that go over them, but suffice to say that you install AppPresser and activate it, and then you choose an app-only theme and you save it. And then once we build the app, then you'll actually be able to see your app right here. Another thing I can do is I can say load AppPresser for admins, and we can actually preview our app in the browser. So if I then go back to my website and I refresh, then I'm going to actually see the same thing that I would see in the app. So you can see this menu and all of these posts and everything. Of course, it's on a wide screen, but smaller screen, it can look like that. But this is a way that I can actually preview my app before building it out onto a device. If you have extensions installed, you're going to have some options, so different tabs with options up here, and you can go through those and configure the settings. So once we have all this set up and configured, one of the other things we can do is customize the app. So we customize it by clicking this Open Customizer button. And that's going to show the theme that we've chosen for the app in the preview, and this is the same as customizing a WordPress theme. Then what we can do is actually change the colors. And so one thing I can do, if I wanted a red header and footer, then I can change that. Another thing we can do is change, basically change any of the colors. For example, right now I have a gray left menu, but let's say I wanted to make that dark. The text I wanted to be light. So then if I do that, then you see that I have this dark menu with this light text on it. And it's very customizable here with all of the colors. You can do button colors and pretty much anything you want. And the great thing is, if I were to save these settings, and then if I go into my app and I actually refresh the app by closing it and then opening it back up, if this app is live on the app stores, it gets updated instantly, even in the app stores. So you'll see that now my app has the red coloring. And even if it was live in the app stores, it would still change. So any of the changes that you want to make to your app can be done in WordPress, which is great. Another thing that we can do is we can set a custom menu for the app. So you do that by building a WordPress menu the same way that you would build it for your website. You can click, if you're in the customizer, you can add a menu here, or you can choose an existing menu. And all you need to do is assign the menu to the primary menu, which is going to be assigned to your app. So this does not affect your website at all. It's a completely separate menu, and you can customize it and have pages here that are not on your site and vice versa. And that way you can make your app look and feel very custom and build pages that only show up in your app. So it's a great way to have a very custom experience in your app. Other things you can do, you can upload a logo for your app, and you can set a custom front page. For example, we can add and remove this slider, which is part of the App Swiper plugin, and we can change the way that the lists are displayed. So if I wanted a card list, it kind of shows like this. And if I wanted no thumbnails, I can also do that. And it's just a nice way to get a very app-style display for your posts. So the way that we actually get this into the device, let me show you that part. Once we have this all set up in our app the way that we are on our website, the way that we want it to look, and we've been previewing it, and we're saying, okay, it looks good. So now how do we actually get it to, onto our device for testing, or actually, submit it to the app stores? So for that, we actually use PhoneGap Build, which is a free, let me see if I can get to their homepage here. Oh, it's not going to let me. So it's a free service for one app, which allows you to compile your app using PhoneGap, which is the framework that we use in AppPresser, and it'll actually allow you to get it onto your device. So it gives you a QR code that you can scan and instantly test the app on your device, and this is also how you build and submit to the app stores. So one of the great features that we have with AppPresser is we have a very easy to use build form. So what you want to do first is log in, go to your account page and log in, and then you're going to go to apppresser.com/build. And here we have a form that you can fill out that's going to just give us the information we need about your app, and it's going to provide you with a zip file that you can upload to PhoneGap Build. So I can put in a name for my app here, description. One of the really important things is your website URL. So I want to make sure, let's see. So right now I'm using scottbollinger.com/dev. And you just want to make sure that this is the URL of the website where you are, where you've installed AppPresser and configured it. App ID is a identifier that they use in the app stores. So it's just a reverse domain. There's no requirements for it, except that it just needs to be a reverse domain identifier. You can use your, I could use com.apppresser.myapp, something like that. Then you input a version, author email, and then the URL. So, and then here we're going to choose icons, this is going to be our splash screen and our icon files. And they need to be a PNG file at this exact size that we described for you here. And there's a sample images that you can download and then put those into Photoshop and swap them out for your branding. And that'll automatically do everything that you need for the icons and splash screens. So once you do that, it's going to give you some information about your build here, and then you can download it. So I'm going to go ahead and download this to my desktop. And then once I do that, I'm going to log into PhoneGap Build after I've created an account here. I'm going to click on New App and then Upload Zip File. I'm going to click on My App, this is the one that I just downloaded. And it's going to go ahead and upload that to PhoneGap Build. So once this is uploaded, we can build it and we can immediately test for Android. iOS requires some other certificates and things like that, which we will need to deal with a little bit later. But I'm going to go ahead and click on Ready to Build. And then if I click into this, you'll see iOS has an error because we need to add a signing key. I'm not going to go into that in this video, but we have other video tutorials on how to create those signing keys. Once this is done building for Android, you can actually just scan this QR code with any QR code scanner, and it'll go to your downloads folder, and then you can go ahead and click on that and install it. And then you can immediately test on your device. So, pretty quickly we can get an app onto our device and go ahead and test it and try it out. And then this is the same process for getting into the app stores. You just use some different certificates, and we have documentation on that. And then you download those and submit them to iTunes Connect and Google Play. And that's how you get into the app stores. So we actually have something we're working on to make this process a little bit easier, but more on that later. But that is basically the process for building an app with AppPresser, putting it all together. There are obviously lots of different ways that you can customize and configure our different extensions and things like that. I didn't want to go too deep into those. One of the great features we also have that I didn't mention yet is offline mode. So let me give you a demo of that real quick. So here I have my app, and I'm going to simulate going offline by just killing my Wi-Fi connection here. And let's see, I might still have a connection. Let me close this out. So offline mode basically allows you to display different information, different screens and content and things to your app visitors. And it can be a completely separate app from your online version. And this can be handy for different uses. But so for example, you could display some posts and videos and content and things like that that display only offline. Or you could, so for example, when I lose my connection, you'll see that little footer comes up that says offline mode. So I accidentally clicked something else here, which closed it, but let me see if I can get it to pop up again. So if I click on the offline mode, let me go offline again here. If I click on the offline mode button, it's going to take me to a separate part of the app that is strictly for offline. So all of this content you see here can be displayed without an internet connection. So for example, if I click this link to another page, you'll see that we have, you can have multiple pages that work offline. We can do things like use some of the PhoneGap APIs for social sharing. You can add contacts. You can use the in-app browser. You could play some music. So if I click on those, I don't have an MP3 player hooked up, but you could download music and save it to the device and play it later. And there's a lot of great things you can do with offline mode. And then when I go back online, I can also choose to I can click go online, and it'll take me back to my online app. So that's an optional feature, but if you're interested in using that part of app. So that is basically most of the overview there. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm gonna go ahead and click over here. If you guys have anything, let me see if I can look in the chat. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here. And we are available at apppresser.com. You can email support@apppresser.com for if you have any questions or you think of anything later. And that is about it. But okay, so we have a question. Can you add ads to the app? Yes, you can. We have a tutorial on adding iAd to the app. However, Apple just recently changed their policy on iAd. They're actually killing their iAd network. So you can use AdMob to add ads to your app. I'm not real familiar with what's going on with iAd. I know Apple just recently announced that they're killing it. So I'm not 100% sure what's going on with that right now, but there is definitely a way to use AdMob, and we should definitely put out some documentation on how to do that. If you email us, we can give you more information on how to do that. So AppPresser is ready to be translated into other languages, and basically that would just be the same thing as translating a normal WordPress theme or plugin. And you can look up instructions on that through the WordPress Codex. But we will provide, they are ready to be translated, and you just need to handle the part of the translation on your end, which is the same as translating any WordPress theme or plugin. So let's see, I have my own theme with its own shortcodes. How can I use that theme while also using app theme interface? Yeah, so one of the issues with using your own custom theme, if it uses a lot of shortcodes, those will not work in the app if you are using one of our, the Ion theme or the app theme. So the issue with using your own theme is that Apple has design guidelines, and it's possible that they'll reject your app if you use your normal desktop theme in the app. It's possible that it will be accepted. So you could try that if you want. However, we highly recommend using one of our themes because it's designed and built to be specifically used in an app with our extensions. Using your own theme, it will not work with many of our extensions, such as the WooCommerce integration, the BuddyPress integration, and a couple other ones. So I highly recommend making a child theme. If your theme is built using shortcodes, if you can move those into a plugin, then it will work. But really, we're switching the theme, and there's not much we can do about that. That's one of the shortcomings of shortcodes, if you will. And so that's really one of the problems that we have with those. So I hope I answered your question. We'll put out some documentation on adding AdMob for you. Geofencing, beacons, and passbook for coupons. Right now, we don't have any integration for geofencing or iBeacons, but we are looking into that. And I'm not real familiar with passbook, so I'm not exactly sure how that would work. So as far as other themes that are also built on Ionic, we just finished the Ion theme, and that's about to be released. So we don't have plans for anything further beyond that right now. So we're just getting ready to release AppPresser 2, which has a bunch of new features and the new Ion theme. That's kind of as far as we've got as of right now. Cool. So if you guys don't have any other questions, then okay, one more question. Is it easy to add a button to allow the users to download the articles for offline mode? So as soon as we release AppPresser 2, which should be very, very soon, we are going to have more information on how to use offline mode and download things. And right now, we don't have any documentation on that. We're trying to kind of just release it, and then we're going to provide documentation on that kind of stuff. Can you install AppPresser on WAMP server for trying? We don't have a free trial of AppPresser, but if you purchase AppPresser, you can use it on a local development environment. Also, you can play around with our core plugin, which is free on the WordPress.org directory, but we don't have any free trials of our extensions. Cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for attending. If I didn't answer any questions, feel free to email us support@apppresser.com, and we'd be happy to help you with that. But I appreciate you attending, and hope to talk to you soon.